What's going on, people of the digital world? My name is Chris Kazama, Fight Club Pro Wrestling, Washington, D.C., best city on earth, best wrestling city on earth. And right now, you're laying down on the mat looking up at the lights, listening to the 3 Count Podcast. That's right. Don't kick out. Stay tuned.
Pin him to the ground and the crowd go wild, man down, know we all like. On the top row, crowd already know high, fly him to the flow like. And your boy real chicka, real nice in the rain like.
All right, we're live now.
We're live now.
Oh, okay. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's your boy, your nephew, your cousin. It's the Don, and you're checking out the 3 Count Podcast Debate Show. Let's go down the roster. Introducing first, he's my tag team partner here on the 3 Count Podcast. He's a man that runs the show because I don't do shit. I don't run shit. I just talk shit. He is the landlord of the Dog Pound. He's the Red Dog of Red Dogs. Cliff Miller. Red Dog.
Yes. It's the Air Force veteran intel specialist, the one you call on to get the job done, and the guy with the fucked up voice because that's what happens when I bump too many times, like in a match, like my voice just gets all messed up. But it's just me. Welcome to the place where we haven't been for such a long time.
Listen, bro, life be kicking everybody's butt. On top of us having bookings and stuff, like we on the move. We on the move. We never stay in one place. So, but we're back. We're back for the debate show. We're always going to give you our 2 cents on wrestling. But let's continue to go down the final member on the debate show today. He is the drip master himself. He is my little brother. That's the only merit that brings him on this show. He doesn't watch any wrestling, as clearly we talked about earlier on this show, and we always bring it up. Josh doesn't watch any wrestling, but hey, he's on this show to talk about all of it. Ladies and gentlemen, my little brother, JJ.
Drip, driving, got the club vibing, thanking the sidewalks for keeping me off the streets, chitty banging, studying every day in.
Yeah, just
studio audience.
Hi, Keith.
So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. It's our 3 Count debate show. We haven't seen this in a while. So let's get right to it. Intro and announcements. Ladies and gentlemen, go, please. This time now, I am begging. I am begging you to please go to our pro wrestling tee shop /3 Count Pod. Get yourself a shirt. Buy something. Please buy a shirt, please. We begging y'all. We want to give you more designs. We want to give you more shirts, but you got to buy them. So go get yourself a 3 Count Podcast merch right there. You see Cliff's, he's got them up on display there, and his own shirt. So go get you one. Okay. Get your shirt, please. If you want to PayPal the 3 Count, just donate. That's fine too. All in dandy. But buy a shirt. Like I said, the more you buy the shirts, the quicker we can give you guys some more designs. So definitely go get yourself a shirt. Also, follow us on all your favorite social media platforms, whether it's on Twitter, which is 3count_pod, or TikTok, which is 3 Count Pod, Instagram, 3 Count Pod, and like us on Facebook, 3 Count Podcast. You can keep up with all of wrestling news every day on all of our social medias. Definitely follow our TikTok page because, TikTok's the new thing. Follow us on Clapper as well, 3 Count Pod. No, it's that, even though that sounds like a very risque porn site, it's an actual app. It's kind of like TikTok, but yeah, get Clapper and follow us there. So definitely do that. Also, subscribe for all our podcast listeners. Subscribe. We're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anything that has podcasts, we're on there. 3 Count Podcast. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, which is where you're checking this out on our live stream on YouTube. So subscribe there, and you can get all of our shows right after they air, and you get the visuals to our debate show. I don't have a debate show, but the visuals you do to now entering the ring, which means segue into Cliff. What's coming, but now entering the ring?
Yeah, so if you guys have been paying attention, we've got a couple of new videos that are out, new interviews. We did have, we have Phil Cardigan on the show, which was an amazing interview to have. We had Jared Silverclight on. He was awesome to have. And this week, we've got the Heel Marks podcast coming on the channel. I'm super hyped about this one. And then last but not least, you guys saw him on the debate show. He came back. We started talking about like comedic timing as far as wrestling goes. AJ Happeny is going to be on. So guys, be on the lookout for those. And then we have a bunch more interviews coming out. Although also, I do want to say this, right? So big shout outs to Righteous Reg, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talk about him because he is not only is he just one of the writers for PWI, but he does come out with the Black Wrestlance 500 every year, BW 500. And, you know, we love the fact that he made the list, right? But we're going to give ourselves a pat on the back because we had 5% of the people that made the list on our show. So if you guys want to see some of the people who made the list and who've been on our now entering ring, go check it out. Everybody from Justin Taylor, who's one of our recents, to Chaz himself.
Yep.
Reed, another person that we're going to have in the future. Rich Swan is going to be on the show. So the list names of everybody who's been in and out, man, it's going to be awesome. So you guys need to be checking this out. And then also, you know, something else we'll talk about. I don't know, maybe like out of the 160 something interviews we've done, maybe something like 24, 25 of them have actually been on AW Dark. So we've been moving.
We have been. We definitely have been. We definitely have been. You know, like I always say, if you're not on the 3 Count podcast, then you don't get to be on like any other podcast. If you don't make it yet, like you can't get on JR's podcast or like Conrad until you come through the 3 Count. So, but yeah, we got, you know, awesome interviews coming up. So with that being said, that's all the intros and announcements. Anybody got any announcements, surprise stuff, anything happening? Because y'all like to do, y'all like to plan a show underneath my plan. So anything? You got anything?
Oh no, but I do want to throw out 2 things, right?
Okay.
One, shout outs to HWT, Hostile Wrestling Takeover, for having me on their show last night. Very much appreciated. It was definitely awesome to be a part of. And then 2, shout outs to my boy Loy and his new wife Chanda, as I was just at their wedding earlier today, and you know I had to get home, so big shout outs to them. You know, congratulations, guys.
Awesome. Shout out to my boy Rico, the Toxic Chief himself, new EWA Cruiserweight champion. You know, because that's our Toxic Chief, and I'm one half of the most undeniable tag team, the Negroes. I'm running with that. I'm gonna get a t-shirt. But anyway, with that being said, let's get down to business. Let's get on with the podcast, with the debate show. Let's start off with our first segment. It's the match of the week. Cliff, what is your match of the week? For those, let me explain for those of you who don't know what the match of the week is. If you know, can't tell by the title, we're gonna, you know, pretty much announce, you know, what we thought our match of the week was, whether or not, you know, such and such pick is a terrible pick, and then hey, see what happens. But no, that's match of the week. So Cliff, what is your match of the week? That isn't your match of the week because it's not your number 1 match on the power ranking. So
yeah,
it's not really your match of the week. You just get a special pass.
Yeah. So let's talk about match of the week. Let's talk about what would be. So we're going to talk about the best of the honorable mentions for me. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
That match would have been Kaylie Ray versus Ember Moon on NXT. The match was fire. So,
all right.
I feel like once I tell people like the top 10, someone's gonna be pissed.
Oh, listen. Now that's you've had a good track record the past couple power rankings. They've been like, you know what? Yeah. You haven't got me. You haven't got red ass Chaz yet on a power ranking in a long time. All right, JJ, what you got? What's your match of the week?
Seth versus Edge. No debate.
Okay, I mean, yeah, you won't get a debate because that's my match of the week as well.
Great minds think alike.
I mean, that's.
I mean, we could be twins, you know. So
no, because then no, because You already look like me. You light skinned. You're the better looking version of me. I wouldn't have. Nah, I'd probably still be single. I wouldn't have got Brie if we were twins. She probably would have picked you. You look better.
Ouch.
You do look better than me.
I don't know.
Anyway, match of the week. Yeah, Edge and Seth Rollins. That match for me. It was a banger. I mentioned it on to a friend of mine actually. We were talking about it, and I was saying like I'm glad that Edge. No, I was talking to you, Josh. That's what I was talking to you. That's probably why you picked match of the week because it was my match. Anyway, but no, I was saying that I was glad that Edge gets to come back on his career, do his thing, and he's just been putting on bangers after banger. Like he's been putting on, classic matches, and it's cool to see that like Edge is getting his Shawn Michaels return type of return. It's putting on those banger of matches. So yeah, Edge is Seth, and then Seth is the architect. Seth is Seth. He shows out. And he constantly puts on matches that he's the top guy up there. So yeah, Edge, Seth Rollins, match of the week. Moving on, let's get to our first debate topic. All right, historic AEW this past Sunday, right? Sunday night, All Out. Ruby Soho was one of the many returns that happened at the pay-per-view. Well, not returns, but debuts. Whether it was CM Punk's return, into a ring after 7 years, Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, yep, baby. And Ruby Soho, she was the Joker in the Casino Battle Royale. And, she won, so she has a title match. So the debate topic is Ruby Soho that big of a signing? As far as star power and all that, is she that big of a signing for AEW? We'll start with you, JJ. Then we'll go Cliff, and then I will conclude.
No. No, she is not. I guess it's more bodies for the women's division. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, it's not like it's a Tessa, even though I know Tessa's been like blacklisted from the big companies. But like, no, it doesn't do anything. She's probably not going to win a title or anything.
You don't have Ruby Soho beating Britt? What?
No.
Okay.
HELLLLL exclamation point. No. No. Money needs to keep holding on to the title as long as possible.
Money, I got you.
Like, no, this doesn't change anything besides the fact they have another body. She might be a jobber, who knows? I hope not. But yeah.
She was doing in the other company.
But yeah, no, it doesn't change anything. Just another body to add and more fodder for money. So cool.
So you say it's overhyped?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna bring anything unique to the table. I don't think.
Ruby's, yeah, okay. Go ahead, Cliff.
Yeah, I think it's a big signing, 100%. And I'll tell you why. Because outside of the stuff that she did on the indie scene, right? Outside of the stuff that she's done at WWE, in the indie scene, man, like people always wanted to work her because she was a solid hand and she knew how to put on good matches. And while she's not like, I'm not gonna say like she's, the Charlotte Flairs or the Sasha Banks or the Becky, like she don't have like that caliber. What she does have is the ability to elevate talent to keep pushing that. She's a Serena Deeb type person that you want to have in there. Like Serena Deeb is a person that we talk about. Like she puts on these banger matches. She's really good. We get invested in stories. And that's what Ruby does. She gets you invested into the people and she gets you invested into the matches. Like I know that Rampage was on. I know you didn't watch the match, but that match was actually really good. And I really enjoyed watching Ruby and Riho and Britt Baker in those matches with Chris Statlander as well. But Ruby is a solid hand. She's one of those people who can elevate the talent that's around her, and she'll continue to do that. So to be like, nah, it's overblown. She's not that good. She don't got that hype. It's disingenuous because she does have a hype. She is that good, and she's just a solid all around worker. Like, she doesn't do like the flashiest things, but what she does well, and she gets people to buy in the stories, and that's why I think I like seeing her at AEW, because we complain about it all the time that AEW doesn't know how to use their women and that the women roster was lacking. But now with the recent signings that they've had, I don't know if that's really a thing that we can say anymore, man, because the talent that they do have is solid. Come on, man. Okay, first of all, we're gonna pretend that Kara Hogan is not a good worker.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so you're gonna tell me that how many times did Ruby get injured at WWE? Aside from her 2 blown shoulders, because she did blow her shoulders. I'll put that out there.
Pretty much. I mean,
she was always she was solid in the ring. Like, WWE really didn't know how to book her because they're like, we're gonna put these 3 random girls together and tell them like, hey, they're the Riot Squad, but they didn't even know what that meant. They put a ketchup on somebody's door. Like, that was riots. Like, I mean, let's be real. Like, they didn't really know what they were doing with them. And when they were working as a tag team, the Riot Squad was pretty lit. I mean, aside from the fact that Liv Morgan got kicked in the mouth and got knocked out, like, that happened. I mean, that was an accident, but they were really good. They're really solid. They're a solid trio. I loved them. And I think when we look at, you start looking at Britt Baker, like, this women's roster, it just keeps adding pieces that I feel like it's elevating the talent. Because, I mean, we've talked about Kara Hogan. We talked about Ruby. You look at Thunder Rosa, like, Britt Baker is obviously like the face right now. I mean, there's just so much talent in that pool, and it's just getting better. And I'm hyped, man. But I will say signing Ruby will only help the women's roster.
Okay. All right. So I don't think it's a big signing. I think it's a cool signing. I don't think it's that big of a signing as everyone's making out to be. On kind of what I agree, well, a little bit of what you said, Cliff, to the fact that Ruby's there, to elevate the talent. I do believe, I agree with you on that. But I don't think this is, the Band-Aid that fixes the women's problem, at least the women's division's problem. It's cool that Ruby Soho's there. Yeah, she can elevate talent. But the thing is this, you can have all these talent, but if the storylines aren't there and people aren't invested, there's just like, as Josh said, there's just bodies there. And I think all in all, it's not necessarily, and that's still the problem in the women's division, even now, is the fact that the women are not in solid storylines. And it's not that on them, it's just the fact that they have not presented the women as stars. The only, unless your name is Britt Baker, they haven't presented them as stars. And that's where I think Ruby Soho gives that advantage, because Ruby Soho, she has that WWE, dust on her. So she's already presented as a star because she is a star. Like, everyone knows who she was because of the WWE factor. And I think that's why we're saying it's a big signing. But if you look at it, it doesn't fix the problem at the women's division. So it's like putting a Band-Aid there, but not, actually putting stuff on the wound. You're just putting a Band-Aid over the cut. It's still bleeding a little bit. It's just, you just stopped it just a little bit. You didn't fix the problem. Because and that I bring, for example, AEW Dark, right? We just had this past, it was last week or this past week? It was this past week. Yes, it was this past week. Diamante and Swole, right? That culminated on Dark. Why isn't that on Dynamite? Like, you can still have 2 women. Like, if they're so full of the women's division, they can have those 2 storylines on Dynamite. They could. They really, like, that was more intriguing. And then it invested me, the package that they were hyping it up on social media. That should have been on Dynamite. That should be when, 1 million people are watching that, should be watching that. Tony Khan said it. He knows it. Like half their viewership watches Dark. They get on, average their 800, 1 million range of viewers on Dynamite. They get half of that on Dark. So why don't you put that on the show that makes them has 1 million people watching? It's Ruby Soho, she's cool. But it's like, it's not like we were cheering for Ruby. Like they weren't popping for Ruby when she was in WWE. Even when they were pushing them and they were getting the esteem, I wouldn't say they weren't getting over. I won't say that. They weren't getting the pop that they're making it seem that Ruby Soho. Like the way that, they're in Chicago pops for anything. A Roach could have came out and they still would have went, batshit crazy. It's just
you just trying to get blacklisted from Chicago.
It's fun, but it's facts. It's
She's
Chicago
from
and Philly.
Chicago. They pop for a hometown hero. Grown ass men crying over Phil coming out after 7 years.
Well, that's
in
Phil.
the United Center.
That's Phil. But that's Phil.
That's different.
That's Phil who
He's
hasn't
a
wrestled in
hometown
7
hero.
years to Ruby Riott, who was in catering for 7 years.
I'm just saying.
What's the difference? There's
Chicago pops for
a
their
complete
heroes.
difference.
Listen, Chicago pops for the heroes. That's what they do. Just like
You're right, but you're right. You're right, because in Cincinnati, they barely popped for in Cincy.
You know who else barely gets any pops?
Who?
Brian Pillman Jr. But guess what happened on Rampage? Oh man, he main evented, and you would have thought that he was the #1 contender for the AEW championship because they were like, yeah, Brian Pillman. And then Moxley came out there like, Moxley, Pillman, our heroes. Like, it's the hometown rub, man. Like, yeah. But anytime I see, and I by the way, Brian, if you see this, I genuinely like you. I just think that if you get around Varsity Blondes, it's not like people are like, oh shit, I came to watch Varsity Blondes. Who did you come check out? Nobody does that unless you're in their hometown. And just like Ruby coming out at the United Center, yeah, the crowd's gonna pop for her because she's the hometown hero.
It's still like, that's my point though. That's my point. Like she adds star power. Like I don't discredit that. She adds star power to the division.
But she's not a roach.
No, she's not.
Oh my god.
But
that's
Chicago
not what he
would
was
cheer
saying.
for a Roach. Like a rabid indie Chicago crowd, they chant anything. They would cheer for a Roach if it came out. That in Philly, especially Philly, EC-Dub. There's probably a Paul Heyman story where a mouse came out through the rampway during a match and they chanted Mickey Mouse. I totally believe that. and that definitely happened in the bingo hall. But to my point though, it's like she adds the star power. Yes, she brings it, but it doesn't fix the problem that AEW don't present their women beside Britt Baker as stars.
No, I agree with that.
Seems like another problem with WWE.
Well,
yes, absolutely. Yes.
If you're not a horsewoman, you don't matter.
AEW is also getting away from another thing that made that product so special, which is their tag team division. Like, if you notice, they have like 1 or 2 teams that are usually featured on the show. Yep. Like, that's a problem too. Like, I don't know if they're really going to address that yet, because like with the Lucha Bros winning and the Young Bucks can kind of be like, hey, we're going to push the Elite in the back and they can do a whole different kind of storyline. Maybe we can get some other tag teams in there, because maybe that was the whole reason why we wanted to push Jungle Express and the Lucha Bros, and then obviously Santana Ortiz and FTR. We need to like get those teams going too. They just got to find a better track record or track system to get these people going, because like there should be at some time where the females get like, 20 minutes worth of like the show, and the tag teams get another 20 minutes worth of show. And then obviously like your single stories that you really want to push should be getting some parts. But I think that we're really missing out on like some great action with the women's division. Because you're right, Big Swole and Diamante was a fire ass match.
Fire.
It should have been on Dynamite.
On Dynamite. Don't make me watch it on YouTube. Put it on the TV screen where like, Jill, like it just, And I know I'm always though. I know everyone hates it, and I know they're probably tired of all the AEW marks and fans. You know, I talk so much crap about this women's division. You would think I want it to fail, but I want it to succeed because there is talent on that roster. There is talent on that roster, and if they would put like you said, Cliff, elevate certain, like give the women like 20 minutes of a show, you can probably get that Chris Statlander alien gimmick over more. Make me understand, like get like as ridiculous as it is, but you can like you give me the time, I'll get it. That's how I got Orange Cassidy. I still don't like it. I get it. I get it. And it's saying that now, like it's kind of funny, cool. It's grown on me, but like they gave it time and I understood, you know? They have to do that with their women.
It's funny that you talk about Orange Cassidy. I was totally a couple weeks ago, I was totally giving people Orange Cassidy high fives.
You were?
Like, yeah, when I was walking into the locker room, and you obviously you shake your hands, right? And then anybody was giving me a high five.
I did the fist bump COVID, man.
Yeah, I mean, even that. But when people were like putting their hands up, like to give a high five, I was just like,
Well, I've migrated to the fist bump method. Cody Rhodes said it was okay, so that makes it.
Cody Rhodes is not the president of wrestling. That is Phil Stamper.
I was say Phil Stamper is.
He says something.
I was say Phil. No, I was like Phil Stamper is. Shout out to the president of wrestling. But yeah, back to the women. If they just Ruby Soho star power, yes, but that's not going to fix the problem. You need to show me why, present these women as stars, present Diamante as a star, present Anna Jay, the Bunny, who else? The woman? Take Conti. Because that, I feel like that's the one to take it. That's the one that get like to take it off of Britt. Show me why. Like, get me invested in some of these. Like, they have all this talent, but don't use it. They just cycle them through for different title matches. That was the problem with Hikaru Shida's title reign. And of course, yes, give all takes, to the fact that there was a pandemic going on, and you can't like that. Just that it was a thing, But like it was just they had these different women coming for a random title match, and there wasn't really nothing. There was no meat and potatoes to it.
Yeah,
it was just And
I feel what's funny though is that with
Thunder Rosa, they got all this talent.
Right.
Present her as a star. They have not presented her as a star. NWA, on the other hand, they did that very well. But now with AEW, they have dropped the ball with Thunder Rosa.
I don't know. I don't know if I can go that far, man. I don't know, because here's why, right? Is that battle royal, right, as it was going on, like kind of showed all the storylines that they're gonna start pushing around. But the one problem is what we've already addressed. Like, Ruby Soho is there as a talent elevator, right? But you still have to give time to the women to put on a show for you.
Right.
You have a 2-hour product, man. Like, we need the tag teams to get featured. We know that TNT titles got to get on the show. We know that you're going to have some storyline with the main, like the top title, right? Phil's going to be involved in there somewhere. CM Punk, okay? It's going to be involved somewhere in there.
And then you call him Phil.
Was that?
We're just going to refer to him
as Phil.
Yeah.
That's
fine.
And then you need to give at least, and I said 20, but it really needs to be like 35 minutes of just the women's show. Like, it just has to be like a 2-hour product, and it should not feature only these 6 or 7 people. Like, I get it, those are your draws, but what you can also do is you can rotate those guys through. So maybe they show up twice on one week, and then you have another star, and then maybe those other, character A shows back up a week later. It just, you got to kind of mix it up sometimes. But I just feel like if we want more people to be involved in the women's division, you got to put the time in. And yeah, maybe people are going to be pissed and you're not going to get that 1.3 million viewers. But in the long run, these kids that you're trying to shoot for are going to start watching too. And they're going to start staying long-term fans. You can't only worry about the 10-second fans. You got to worry about those 10-year fans down the road. And those kids that see wrestlers who look like them will stay with the product. That's the problem with WWE, is that they've lost track of who is watching the product. and that they don't want to build the 10-second fan. This is why we keep getting the Goldberg returns, or we get, Brock Lesnar returns, or we get the John Cena's, because all we do is we want to hook on nostalgia. We're trying to pull in these old lapsed fans. Well, forget those guys.
Mhm.
Get back to what you want. And if you want that 18 to 49 demographic to go up, you need to market out kids who are in that, 13 to like 18 range to build that audience. And you got to have stars who look like them. And I say that not just in the sense of women, but God damn, can I get Scorpio Sky on Dynamite?
That was.
Can I get Private Party to be Private Party and not belong to Matt Hardy? Can I get Sammy Guevara on a solo run? Can I get Nyla Rose out there by herself?
Nia
Can
Jackson.
I get just these
No,
wrestlers?
said Nia Jax.
I did, I almost did. Yo, can I get Sonny Kiss on the show? Please. Like, these wrestlers are just, you have this unique opportunity. And who do we feature all the time? The same guys. And I get it, they're your draws, but man, it would be awesome to see some different people of different backgrounds on the show, because I want kids and I want people to realize, hey, this show is for everybody and we are building a bigger audience. Sorry.
I mean, you took the rant from me, because I was getting there. I was gonna get that in. What you call it? Probably it depended on your power ranking. I was gonna get that rant out. that there. So we're gonna move to our next topic. I'm gonna use that as a segue. Using Cliff's rant as a segue. Shout out, all our live viewers. Who's checking in with us. Thank you for chilling, your Sunday evening with us. Definitely checking us out before Sunday Night Football. Definitely. So thank you for listening. So moving on, we're going to temp check. All right, temp check. I gotta get a sound bite that goes temp check. But yeah, temp check. Here we go. For those who don't know, temp check, we're gonna see go around and see who's the hottest wrestler, or you can go on the opposite and say, who do you think is the coldest wrestler going into this week? Or you can give me both. You want to be overachiever. Cliff normally gives me both. So we'll start with you this time, Cliff. I'll go after you. And then Josh, you will conclude.
All right. So for me, a person who is going ice cold, Chaz, you're gonna love this one. Riho. It is. I mean, like, the bottom rope elimination, and then like come and try to save Ruby and getting beat down, and then the match. Yeah, it's just not a good look. Like, even though she got the win on Friday night, like it's just not a good look. Like, I'm sorry. But and I know, I'm sorry, Rio. I do like you, but you're just kind of ice right now to me. And so is Sheeta. Let's be real. Like, I mean, I know she's doing great things on Dark, but yeah, I mean, they really didn't do anything with her at the Battle Royal either. So, but for my hot person who's on the heat rise, let's give it up, man. Let's be real. Rich Swann.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and maybe I'm just being biased, but Rich Swann, like, put on that killer match with Carl Anderson. He's got a rematch coming up last week. He had an awesome match with Ruckus at ACW. So yeah, I mean, that's where I'm gonna be at with it.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go with my wrestler who's kind of hot going out this week, coming into this week. And it's the world champion, Trish Adora. That I won't even bring up the match yet. The fact that she got her own designated promo on ROH's page alone, with Shane Taylor. Shane Taylor telling Trish Adora that because she lost in the match. Spoiler alert if you didn't watch it. Because I spoiled that match for apparently person here, and I completely apologize. Because I thought he watched it. Sorry, Cliff. And then my tag partner did the same thing. It was like, yeah, she lost.
It's just
But-
pure ignorance.
It is. But Shane Taylor said that she was gonna make the world. He was gonna make sure they know who Trisha Dora was. And I think that alone, that promo, it was really good. And that alone, I think, has got her shooting her to the moon. And it's cool that she's getting that shine. But also her match as well was fire. So, but yeah, I got Trisha Dora, the Pan African World Diaspora Champion, as on my temp check hot. I ain't got no cold wrestler.
Hey, I'm gonna throw in there too, man. Didn't she finish like 44 in the PWI?
Yeah, somewhere like that.
Yeah, she was in it.
44 or
Yeah.
44.
It was around, I don't remember her. I don't remember.
Regardless of whatever number, it was like 44 or 55, but regardless, either way, it's the highest any woman's ever been ranked in the PW 500.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
So yeah, big ups.
Definitely. No facts. Because she's definitely killing it. She's killing it. Yeah. I guess there's like there's no like I can sit here for days. Y'all know how my love for Trisha Dora.
Also, I do want to comment on that promo too, man, because
Okay.
Shane's opening lines in that promo where he said, "You're a queen. Don't ever let them see you like this." I was like, "Ooh, I got goosebumps." It's like I got chill.
Exactly. Just it was awesome. It was awesome. And shout out to Trisha Dora, the world champion. Yeah. Go ahead, Josh. What you got for me? Temp check.
Putting the thermometer in, the mercury. Trying to taste it. It's right on my tongue.
You're gonna die from mercury poisoning.
Beep, 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 beep. All right, let's see.
When did mercury? What? Okay.
All right, never. Forget that. I told you.
Yeah. Sure.
We live. Everybody's seeing that.
All right, so yeah, epic fail. Epic fail. All right, so let's see. Who's ice cold? Colder than Ebony Maw and Infinity War.
Like that joke.
Are we done?
Yeah. Like your joke. All right, I'm done. All right, go ahead. Temp check.
Anyway, since you know what, fuck ice cold. We're gonna talk about who's red hot right now. Y2J. Super hot. Yes. Super hot fire. So yeah, that match was amazing. And he's not retiring. So call you guys. Chris Jericho's the man. Judas. You may not like what he says personally, but we're screwing that out the way. We're just talking about wrestling. We're talking about wrestling. We're talking about just wrestling wise.
And guess what? Since you're gonna do that, I'm using that as a segue. We're gonna to our next.
That's exactly why I went with Jericho. So
yeah, whatever. You really do believe that. So here we go. Next debate topic. Jericho came on his on his high horse on his social media, praising the story with him and MJF. Saying that it's probably one of the best stories, his longest story he's done. He's ever been in, probably one of the best in the last 20 years. Is he right? Or is he just, blowing smoke up his own ass? We'll start with you this time, Cliff.
No. Start with JJ because he was the one all like, Chris Jericho, this is the greatest thing ever.
All right, Jay.
So, is it cap? Yes.
It's mega cap.
It's ultra cap. All right. If there was a master ball to catch all that cap that Chris Jericho just threw out there, it'd be You know what I mean? 100% catch rate. You know what I'm saying? That's utter cap. No is not the best thing in 20 years. I can think of other things that are better in the last 20 years.
You're not even 20 years old.
And I'm not even 20 years old yet. So no, hell no, ultra no, big fat no, no, no in Spanish, no in French, no in English.
It's all no.
It's all no.
All right. I'll let you go last, Cliff. I'll let you go last.
Great match, but no.
It wasn't the best in 20. Is it one of the best? That's even pushing it. It was good. It wasn't bad. Like, I'm not like, I don't want people saying like, oh, you know, the MJF and Chris Jericho storyline was bad. It was trash. It wasn't bad. Like, it was all right. It was solid. It was right. It was a good, you know, it was long. Like, it was long, and it made sense. And to, you know, this is like, I'll say just the track, how we got there was a little wonky, but it was fine. It's just, I can tell, like you said, there are so many other storylines that were better in the last 20 years than this one. Like, you can tell me that this was better than Shawn and Taker's storyline, their very first WrestleMania match. You don't think that this story was better than that? As you know, as much as we want to hate, you know, as much as we you know, shit about it, but was this was better than the Rock and Cena storyline, Rock and Austin? Like, the Invasion, for what it was worth, the Invasion, NWO. You think it's better than the Invasion? So, you think it's better than Rock and Cena? You think it's better than Shawn and Taker? Okay.
But there's a caveat to that.
It's like Batista. Like, I'm saying this. There's a lot of things that happen. Like, it was cool. Like, I do feel like, though, and this is, you know, just me, I really felt like MJF should have been the one that cut it. And Jericho do the whole, you know, see you later, sayonara. Like, we got, you know, MJF some real heat. But I mean, he's got now. It's just now that you gotta build MJF back up now to be that fire heel again, because you sizzle him now because he lost. So you gotta, you know, let him. Then, like, on top of the fact that you gotta let him get some wins, because if he go out there, he's not going, you know, come out there and go right against Phil. Phil be like, didn't you just lose to Jericho? So, but it wasn't the best thing in the last 20 years. It wasn't. Is it up? Like, it was good. It was good for the past year. Like, it's one of the best. Like, but it's not the best thing in the past 20 years. Like, no, nah.
It is the best long-term story in the last 20 years.
Oh, whatever.
I say it like this, right? And when you asked me about Shawn and Taker, I did say no. But I did say one thing. I said I have a caveat to that, because Shawn and Taker's matches, like, that whole story wasn't a whole continuous story. It started at Royal Rumble, it ended at WrestleMania, and then, like, every once in a while, Shawn would make a reference to Taker all the way up until we got back to Royal Rumble.
No, it was December. Actually, it was the Slammies. It was the Slammies.
But he didn't. Then he made his comment,
yeah,
and then it went on from there. Right. So it took a break. The Jericho match, Jericho's story with MJF never really took a break. Like, sure, they didn't wrestle like all the time, because there's that time where MJF was a part of, like, he was a part of the group, but then, like, it kind of faded out from there. Right. But they were always entwined. And I thought that was always cool, was like, oh, here he is as, like, this sleazy bad guy who snakes his way into the inner circle, and then he, like, runs with them for a little bit and then turns on them, and then they have all these cool matches outside with the Pinnacle, and then eventually it all comes back down to Jericho versus MJF. And I always thought that was cool, and I liked Jericho's thought behind it. He didn't say it was the best thing, he just said it was one of his best things in the last 20 years. And I kind of agree, because when I look at, like, John Cena's stories, right? just like with The Rock. Not that it's not John's fault, because I'm sure if John and Rock wanted to run a full year of running like not like tag matches against each other or stuff, just entwine like the story the whole time, it would have been fire. And we would legit be looking at Jericho like, you know what, bro? Like, that's not true. But because MJF was always around Chris Jericho the whole year, I feel like, yeah, he has a valid point. And you can't really find another story. Like, what are you gonna say? The Shield? Like, that was a better story? Because they kind of all just like went their own different ways, and then they came back, and then they went away, and then they came back. They weren't always in touch with each other. That's why I liked this story with Jericho and MJF. I just thought because MJF was always around somewhere in the story, he was always there doing some fuckboy shit. And his t-shirt that said MJF3 Jera below 0. I thought that was great.
I mean, it was great. It was funny. Still, I still don't think it's the best long term. I still don't.
Well, 5 minutes of the story.
I think Jericho's feud with what's your face? What is his face? What's that guy?
To be fair, I think a story that would rival it would be the one with Kevin Owens.
Yeah, I was going to say Kevin Owens. I couldn't think of his name. Well, I guess what is his name?
Kevin Owens and
I was about to say Kevin Owens. Like, that's better than that. That's better than MJ.
But even that story went what, 9 months?
Okay,
like, I say that like
it wasn't a.
I say that like that. I don't mean it like that, but I mean, this was a story that they built for almost 18 months, 19 months. Really, kind of since the start of AEW, because whenever like Jericho was being the heel, he was the asshole heel, and then you had MJF being a cocky heel, like, and they're always just like crossing paths. Like,
I still think man, Hogan and Shawn had
that story was trash.
The match was trash, but the story was cool.
Granted, Shawn sabotaged it.
It doesn't matter.
Rightfully so.
It's still hilarious. I said the match wasn't fire, but the story was better than this.
The match was fire.
But it wasn't a long-term story. It was like,
I know, but still, I'm just saying that was better.
The match was fire. What are you guys talking about?
It was Shawn flailing. It was. I just
hilarious.
Fine ball of shit.
It's comedy gold.
It won't do it for me. Like, I enjoyed it. It just no.
And everybody's entitled to the wrong opinion.
Then you're exactly, and you're entitled to your wrong opinion, and that's perfectly fine.
Listen, just because I'm outnumbered here, black to brown, does not mean I'm going to back down.
I know you would like. I know that, and that's all good. But like, no, man, it was. It's so like not even just like. No,
I just like the fact that I'll be like, name me one other story that was way better, and you're like,
I can't think of nothing off the top of my head. I need this.
Wikipedia is not here.
No, and he's not. This is where I need. The one time I need him, he's not here. I'm gonna lay him out tomorrow morning. But yeah, it don't do it for me. Let's check into our check into the chat box. What's everybody talking about?
Oh, we're just talking about how you're trigger happy with your
Oh yes, absolutely. Should give that to Cliff. Wrong.
But you guys let us know if you can think of another story that was better in the last 20 years than MJF and Chris Jericho. Let us know in the comments below. We're definitely wanting to hear from you guys.
Yes, because there's plenty of them. I just can't think right now. All right, moving on to our next and our final debate topic. Mick Foley.
Actually, you know what? I'm not even mad. Someone actually did throw out a good one.
What is it?
Black privilege versus pure ignorance. Long-term storybooking.
See, there you
go. Yeah, Keith, cool.
Enough said. Enough said. I don't want to hear any more other matches now. because that's facts.
You just put yourself. I gas myself up. Gaslight me.
Hell yeah, no, nothing else needs to be said. So at that point, we're gonna move on. Don't say anyone. No, say any more matches, Cliff. So is Mick Foley right about WWE not being the place for talent to aspire to be at? Okay, that Mick Foley went on. He did a video, said that we had a problem. The WWE had a problem. It's an AEW problem, and he was. I kind of said some things. He said, talent want to go to AEW rather than WWE. They've seen, what happens when they get the call-ups happen, and like Karrion Kross, for example, you can name a couple of them. Ricochet, they don't do so well. They creative kind of goes because they try to change it. So is Mick right? Like, what do we feel about his comments? Go ahead, Cliff. You start.
I don't think he's wrong. I mean, he even said it though. He's like, I don't want to knock the company. He's like, they did wonders for me when I was there. He's like, but if I wanted to go somewhere right now, he's like, I wouldn't trust him with my career. And I don't disagree with him. Like, he's right. Like, and just like you said, man, like so many other people have come through, and then like WWE tries to mold them and change them into something different, and it just doesn't work out for them all the time. I mean, for goodness sakes, man, like there's this badass who was undefeated at NXT, and then goes to the main roster and they throw a helmet and some straps on him and try to change him up. Talk about a man who came up and was telling people to bask in his glory, and then like they iced him out because they were trying to make him more of a heel. The idea that they were going to make somebody a manager for a heel,
that's false. That's been proven false. That's a fake report.
The rumor that they were gonna, the allegations that somebody was supposed to be a manager for a heel Keith Lee, like, just saying, like, there's just those things, man. Like, you're trying, like, I get what WWE wants to do as far as like they're big, man, like they want to really focus on like the larger than life superstars, but unfortunately, man, like some of these little guys that are out there are really, really good, and they're really good at storytelling, and you don't need to change them. And it's just weird how WWE keeps missing the mark on certain superstars, and then they turn around and put out a statement that they're an alleged statement that they're going to stop scouting indie talent. Like, it's just crazy to me.
Josh?
The battered man tells no lies. How many careers has WWE like royally like screwed the pooch on? Too many. We got like Cliff Gill says with Karrion Kross.
You were a Karrion Kross fanatic.
You would.
I don't even know who he is anymore.
I don't think he knows who he is anymore.
He doesn't. He probably doesn't.
First you get rid of Scarlett. Then you like, I don't even know what the hell he's supposed to be. He looks like a knockoff Vader. Maybe
he look like Guardian. That's Guardian. What do you mean? That is Guardian. If you bring it out a little bit more, it could be a Nova helmet too for Nova. Like,
it just doesn't. This isn't Ricochet. He's basically at this point just
Uncle Ricochet like that.
He just does Keith Lee.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing. Mick Foley said was right. Now it's the problem is back then, like Mick Foley said, it was WWE or bust. Now it's you can go to Ring of Honor. It's not as big as WWE, but you can go there and be successful. You can go to AEW, you can be successful. You can go to New Japan, you can be successful. WWE, they're so caught up in this bubble that they think that, oh, we're WWE is still like 20 years ago. And it's not anymore. And Mick Foley's, what he said was right. It's just that simple.
Yeah. You won't get a disagreement, dude. There's no debate on this topic. I think we kind of all see the writing on the wall. I've been saying it for I've been saying it for like a year now that the WWE is they're going in a different direction than what is pro wrestling. And
They're a parody of pro wrestling.
Yes, I said that on Twitter a couple weeks ago. I said WWE has gotten to a point where they're a parody of themselves. They're a show. They're a show about a wrestling show. If you sit back, you look at what WWE is. They are an entertainment show. They're a show about a wrestling show. Like that's what it has become at this point, and it's weird, and it's like good for wrestling as a whole and in general, because you can go like Josh said, you can go to AEW, be successful. You can go to New Japan, you be successful. You can go to Ring of Honor. A lot of people ask me at it's like, oh, Chaz, you want to go to WWE? I tell them no. Because I don't actually, and I can be honest, I would rather, if the opportunity arises, I would sign at AEW, or I would rather go to Ring of Honor. Japan's kind of far. I don't like planes, but if the opportunity, I think about it. And then they hit hard. That's why they hit hard. That's why I want to go to UK.
Another thing, bro.
AAA, I will go to Mexico.
Yeah.
I do want to wrestle in Mexico. But yeah, there are other places where you can be successful. And it's just, like Josh said, it's not WWE or bust. If WWE don't want me, that's cool. That's cool. I'll go over here when they want. And then here's the thing, if they do want you after the fact, I think that's another story. Because I think, that's a case-by-case basis, the money and all that and stuff like that.
It's the money. That's the only thing that's really enticing about WWE nowadays.
That's true. That is true.
Most people now at this point, I mean, I'm pretty sure they do enjoy wrestling. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them are just in it for the money.
Yeah, and it's a role. It's a role. Like they said, they can teach anybody to wrestle. When they said that, it's what I've been saying from jump. But Cliff, the other couple like a month and a half ago, when I said it, was like, no, you're crazy.
Omos.
They said it like
Omos is a perfect example.
They're not pro wrestling anymore. And I'm gonna keep saying it, like when we have these type of conversations about WWE as far as that aspect, we gotta look at it as like they're not booking, they're telling, they're writing a TV episodic show. They don't have bookers. I mean, there's a booker, you look at Vince, but it's a TV show. It's a TV show about wrestling. And that's if you want to do that and you want to be on TV, that's fine. You can do that. But if you want to be a professional wrestler, you got all this other stuff to go to. You have AEW to go to, and Mick's right. And Mick's always been one to tell the truth. He's always, if you have not followed Mick Foley on Twitter in the past 5 years, you're missing out. Especially, he calls out WWE on their shit. He's not afraid to do it, and he calls it when it's trash. He says it when it's really good. So it's not like he's reached the bandwagon of trashing the company. No, he tells when it's good, he lets you know that something's good, but it's not. AEW has healthcare. That's why I want to go. Then once I heard that, I said, "Oh, I'm sold."
You gotta be on a full time.
That's fine. They will sign me for full time because I'm that damn good.
Also, you guys keep talking about places that you can go. You mentioned Ring of Honor, you mentioned New Japan, you mentioned AEW, but we are also leaving off two big companies. One being the oldest, NWA, and then Impact.
That's
yeah, true. I told
those
you
are all the places that you can definitely succeed at.
Yeah, you're right. You can. There's just so many places, so many options.
But it's so crazy to think about that.
Hold the point real quick, Cliff. You can even mention some of these top indies feds as well.
That's what I was gonna say. Think about that, man. Because
you go GCW.
Go on.
I'm gonna let you go. You take the point, Cliff. You take. We keep saying it.
Yeah, because we know we're gonna say go on IWTV. All these places that got these crazy deals, like GCW. Game Changer is not playing around, man. You can have a successful wrestling career outside if you want it. You just have you're gonna have to, obviously you're gonna have to work for it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's out there, and
Yeah.
people will book you because they know that you're really good. Like, I'm talking to people from the show last night, and everybody's like, "Man, I'm booked every weekend until July of next year." I'm like, "Bro, who has time to think about that time?" And I'm like, "If I want to be on that level, you obviously got to think about that." And I was like, "Bro, that's a long time to think about." And I was like, "But that's crazy to think that you're booked out that far." I'm
Right.
like, you know what?
I'm not even. I don't even have the full year yet.
Bro, I don't even got a full month. Like, I'm still looking over here at like November. I have one booking in November. Hey, by the way, anybody want to book me in November? There's a strong possibility I might be open.
See, before this, yeah, like I got, right. But no, you're right. It is like there's places outside the bubble, the bubble of the WWE, where you can be successful. And Mick just called it out. He's just the legend of that called it out and said it that we've all been saying. Especially some of us who stay hip to the wrestling scene going on outside of the E. We've been saying this for about a year. I honestly, right before AEW popped up, and became like an official thing, we were saying that the Indies, is starting to get this resurgence in it. And of course, with AEW opening up, and the Indies resurgent, it's real out here. Like, you don't have to go to the E to be a successful wrestler. And
but I will put this out there, man, and not that I would only shit on WWE, but they do take a lot of chances that other companies can't take the chance, right? So we saw them, they're at the festival just like was last year, and then this last week, man, they had Trae Young coming on. Because when you think about wrestling, and let's be real, it's kind of like mixed martial arts, right? Like, people don't ask about mixed martial arts; they ask about UFC, And when you talk about wrestling, unless you're in deep, right? Let's talk about people who just don't have any association with wrestling. They don't talk about wrestling. They don't talk about, hey, did you have on AEW? No, they're asking, hey, you had the perfect question, and it happened to me earlier today too. Like, hey, are you gonna go to WWE? Like, nope. Like, not that I would turn it down. Like, if WWE came to me and was like, hey, man, but at the same time, like, is it a goal? No, I'm like with Mick. I'm like, I kind of want to go AEW because those guys have a lot that they're offering for guys like me. So I want to go that route. And it's funny, but people don't realize that when they associate wrestling, they think of WWE. Just like when people think about mixed martial arts, they don't talk about Bellator, they talk about UFC. So yeah, but WWE's out here like going to hip hop concerts, and they're bringing on like outside talent, and they're really trying to bring in more people to view wrestling. But it's not a real wrestling product, and that's what to your point.
They're bringing this star power. It's they're bringing in Trae Young, which I thought was the most fun.
That was great.
Hilarious.
That was amazing.
It was so fun. I was like, wait, I'm like, Trae Young. I said, what? And I was just like, and then it clicked. I said, oh, the Knicks. And I was like, why they do that?
That's disrespectful.
I watched that series.
That's
so that's why I was like, and they were booing him crazy. And I'm like, they're assholes.
But what made it even better though? And here we are talking about it, right? What jersey was Sami Zayn wearing? He was wearing a Knicks jersey with Trae. He brought out Trae Young wearing a Knicks jersey, and then he's all like, check it out. And Trae Young was like, get away from me, bro. But they're on the same side.
That was hilarious. We had a
who was the one tweet that had it was like, if James Dolan comes down now, he might become the biggest face. Who was it?
I don't know who said it.
I forgot what tweet I saw, and I was like, oh my god.
I missed that one. I can't
remember who it is because I want to give him a shout out, but I can't remember who it was. I think it was Righteous Reg.
It might have been.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have made that. He would have made that reference. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, if we had a heel moment of the week, I would have gave it to MJF for his entrance at All Out. But nah, No, Vince takes this one with Trey Young. Sorry, but
Get that kid from the Hawks.
facts.
Hey, he's good shit. He'll be real great here.
All right,
All
moving.
right, Trey, here's
moving
what you gotta
on.
do. Just walk out. That's all you got to do. Don't do anything. Just walk outside and just wave at the fan.
And then they ejected him too.
What's that?
Then they ejected him, which was even better. That they sent him out, and I was like, "Hey, yo, that's how you." Like I said, it's a show that has wrestling elements in it, but it's not a wrestling show. Like that's wrestling 101 right there. Like you get the home crowd, have them happy. Yeah. But
Like this man was choking Rey Mysterio, and the ref was looking right at him, and he was just like, "What do I do?" Come on, man. Trey got me with it though. Like I was like, Trey, if you weren't a basketball player, you might actually have a career at WWE.
Right.
As a manager, I would buy into that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. That was funny. Look at us, but shitting on the Eid, and it goes right there talking about how good they did.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like,
let's move on. Let's go. It's time for the greatest segment in all of this podcast thing we got. Yeah, this is better than this segment right here. It's even better than the 10 count questions on Now Entering the Ring, and that's one of my favorite things. But this segment right here, though, this is better than everything. Like better than everything. Here we go. It's time for the Red Dogs Power Rankings. Boom, 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 boom.
oh God. Over here chopping wood. So we've been gone for a little bit, man. So I just want to touch on a couple of matches that we missed. So last week, I don't know if we made the announcement or not, but for September 5th, I want to talk about the top match, which would have been Trevor Murdoch and Nick Aldis for NWA 73. Just a phenomenal match, man. I enjoyed it so much, and I just wanted to touch back on it.
I was upset he lost.
What's that?
I like Nick Aldis as the world title.
I do like Nick, but it was time for a change. And
I agree, but I didn't like Trevor Murdoch.
And the last student of Harley Race was the winner, so I thought that was really cool too. It was a great tribute, and the fact that Trevor was wearing the similar tights to what Harley Race wore, so I was digging all of it. So let's start off with our honorable mentions, right? I'm gonna start off with our first honorable mention, which would be it was Ruby Soho winning the women's battle royal. That was the first honorable mention match.
Geez, must be a rough week for wrestling then.
Yeah, so let's get into talking about
I'm terrible.
So let's get into talking about our next one up is going to be Jungle Express and the Best Friends versus the Hardy Family Office at All Out. So that was also on our honorable mention. We go up, and here's where I think things are going to start getting decisive. So honorable mention wise, Miro versus Eddie Kingston at All Out is on our honorable mention. I thought that was a great match, and it was a fire opener for All Out, and it's on our honorable mention.
It was fire. I didn't like the finish though.
Yeah,
I didn't like the finish. The match it was a fire match. I think I hate when people do the bounce off the ropes twice. Like I get, for the actual momentum. I just for the other guys, like you just gotta stand there and watch you like no.
You remember because like they did that at WrestleMania with Taker and Roman, and I was like, why is Taker just standing there as Roman's powering up? I'm like, no, he's hitting at the same speed. So let's jump into our next honorable mention match, which a lot of people will probably be tripped out about. Kenny Omega and Christian at All Out, sitting at an honorable mention.
That's fine because it was cool. Like it was cool. It wasn't what Meltzer said it was.
I thought it was a great story told match, but I didn't think it was
all that
to be on the top 10. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
high.
So our last match on honorable mentions, as I mentioned at the top of the show, would be Kaylie Ray versus Ember Moon at NXT. So let's hop into our top 10, with the number 10 match being Santos Escobar versus Carmelo Hayes at NXT. I love that match. I thought was great. We're going to move into number 9, and this also will be kind of decisive because this was your guys' pick. It was Seth Rollins over Edge on SmackDown.
Let me tell you something. If that damn Lucha match, that damn Lucha Brothers and Young Bucks match is anywhere near your top 5, I swear to God, you're fired.
So we're going to jump into number 8, which this was a match that you really had to see in person because the energy and the energy of the match really like drew me in. And then the match was really solid too. So this is really, I mean, this would technically be our second, but this would be the first time that this company has made the list. So it was Rich Swann over Ruckus at ACW. It was a great match. I loved it. We're going to move into number 7, which is Chris Jericho versus MJF at All Out.
Bro, that match was better than the tag match. I see you just tag.
We're going to keep talking. Number 6 was Malachi Black versus Dustin Rhodes at Dynamite.
That was better than the tag match.
We're moving to number 5, which I feel like this match got a lot of talking about once it finished, but I feel like this match, I'm going to bump that match up one. So it's the first time that you're going to see a match get bumped up. So at number 5 will be the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks at All Out.
Well, that was originally 4?
That was. So at number 5, though,
What drugs are you on?
All of them. So number 4 was...
Yeah, definitely, because, oh my God, what?
Andrade El Idolo versus Pac at Rampage.
You originally had that over?
I did originally. So let's move into...
Quit, bro.
Let's move into number 3. We're going to talk about Jon Moxley versus Kojima at All Out.
That was better. That was not better than Edge. I would put that in the Edge and whatchamacallit. No, that's not your power rankings. I'm shutting up.
Let's jump into number 2 with CM Punk versus Darby Allin at All Out.
Okay. What do you have as 2 and 1?
So what is number 1? So it was my favorite match. I was mostly invested into it. And what's funny is we always talk about like why certain matches get their spots is because of how I get invested into the match, right? So the number 1 match that I was mostly invested in, it would have been Dr. Britt Baker DMD versus Chris Statlander at All Out.
Okay, so
let's talk about. We can talk this now. I was kind of waiting because I wanted to do everything, and then we could talk.
You got some wild accusations in this.
So the Seth Rollins match, I can give you. Yeah, we could probably bump that up a couple spots. I could definitely do it like that.
A couple,
but to say that Lucha Bros match, because it's not your cup of tea, and I get that. It's not. It's not tagging. It's a tornado tag match in a steel cage. Like it is. What
it has that. It was. So where was the story? It was just spots. They were doing spots.
It was a bunch of spots put together, and it was 2 tag teams trying to show off that they were better than the other team. Because there's at one point where they were just literally mirroring each other every single time because they knew each other so well.
I thought they were just overdoing
the package pile drivers on the aprons, the super
they do that standoff. Every match, Cliff.
The super kick standoff.
No. They do that same spot every match. They have that stupid package pile driver spot on the apron. They do that every match. They do every match. They did it in that ladder match at the first All In. They did it on Dynamite. They do what? You're gonna tell me that story? They do that crap every time. That's not story. That's a spot that they do. That's just their spot. No story.
And now the Lucha Bros are your new AEW tag team champions.
I'm fine with that. Is that just oh, you gotta be kidding me. That didn't the thumbtacks with the shoe And it's not
that was a callback. I appreciate that callback. That was a callback, and I genuinely was excited when I saw that.
but it wasn't. It should have been the finish.
It should have been a finish.
And then the finish was that lazy dive that Ray Phoenix.
That wasn't the finish. The finish was the.
That led to the finish. That was that happened.
They were going home.
Exactly, and it was lazy. It looked like a dead body falling. That's what Ray Phoenix looked like. It looked like you just dumped the body off the bridge.
What was he gonna do?
At least look like Rey Mysterio. Look when he does it. At least spread his legs out. Do something. My man looked like a dead body.
Cody broke his toes when he jumped off the one time.
God,
it's like the second time they've ever used that steel cage too, by the way. And the fact that
I don't care, man.
And Cody broke his toes the last time he did that moonsault off of it.
Well, no one told him to do a fucking
no one did. No one did.
Like shit, but no, dude.
I love the fact that we have people in our chat saying that Ryback is the GOAT. That's fun. Ryback, we appreciate you in our chat.
Awesome. Thank you. But no, that tag match does not get anything for me. And the fact that Meltzer gave it a fucking 5 point something, I was just like, what? It reminds me how I hate the rankings and I hate Meltzer. And I was just curious.
It's in my top 5, but it's not. I mean, like I said, originally when I went back and started thinking about it as I was doing it, I was like, damn, dude, I really did enjoy. And I was invested in that match a lot, but I wasn't. The top 4 matches, I was like, sucked into the world. And Moxley and Kojima, man, like that match was a lot of fun. And then to see, and I know this is post, right? When Suzuki showed up after, I was like, oh shit.
I popped for Suzuki. I was like, oh shit.
And I guess if I would have been fair with that same kind of logic, Kenny and Christian would have been up in the top 10 because of obviously Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole.
Right. I see what you're saying. But that was post. I mean, I just the tag match. Everybody, it's the greatest tag match. I'm like, what?
I knew. Well, first of all, I didn't say all that. That 10-man.
I know you didn't, but
SmackDown.
I see. That
10-man tag match on SmackDown. That was it, man. That was the bee's knees. Like
on that note, I get the time to go home. So thank you, everyone. If you made it this far through the show, I always got to tell people that because it's a feat to get through our debate show. It is a feat. It's like every time you get good through, you get a little achievement on Xbox or a trophy on PlayStation. Gotta, you get a little. Hey, made it through another debate show. So thank you for sticking with us. It's 7:30 live. Live right now. It's 7:30. Make sure I rephrase that statement. So you got an hour before kickoff. So babe, glad you spent your Sunday evening with us. Thank you again. Make sure you share our video, subscribe on YouTube. What else? Subscribe to all of our podcasts. We're everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, everything. We're all there. Follow us on all our social medias. Buy a shirt. All right. Definitely do that. Buy a shirt. I'm your boy, your nephew, your cousin. It's the Don here with the Red Dog of Red Dogs. Here with JJ. Yeah, I know. I realized yours is different than mine. So I'm like, oh, you're this way. He's down that way. So whatever you see them.
I'm on the right or the top right.
You're sleeping. That's what you're doing.
No, I was sleeping.
You were nodding off live on the air.
You definitely were. And you're being called out on it in the chat too.
You got that's the 8. Cliff, you take this video and you put it on TikTok tonight. Don't do nothing for the podcast tonight. I've given you the night off, but to do that goes on TikTok.
The sleepy one.
Sleep. That's your new name. You've upgraded from Napster to the sleepy one. That needs to be your Twitter name, Josh.
Your Twitter name should be Sir Sleeps a Lot.
All righty. And now he walks off. It doesn't matter because we're closing out. Tune into the next episode of the 3 Count Podcast. Be there. Are you going in the? What are you doing?
Put himself in a hamster because he's trash.
Be there or be. You just be there. Just be there.
Hey guys, it's the host of the 3 Count, Chaz Evans here. Make sure to let you know that I don't run shit, I don't do shit, I just talk shit. And make sure you subscribe to our podcast. What else did you do? You should also follow us on all social medias. That's the Facebook at 3 Count Podcast, the Instagram at 3 Count Pod, and the Twitter at 3Count_pod. Also, if you like us a lot, you should definitely buy a t-shirt at prowrestlingtees.com/3countpod, and that's the number 3. Don't be an idiot and type in THREE, because you're not going to find anything. So make sure you follow us at 3CountPod or 3Count_pod on Twitter and buy a shirt. Be there or be somewhere else.